If there's one thing Susan Meredith does for all the customers renting her boats at Blackwater Paddle and Pedal, it's this.
We send them right upriver. Yeah, they don't want to see any sea nettles. They're terribly scared to death of them.
That's because just upriver, the water isn't salty enough for the jellies, and they're nowhere to be seen. But this year, she doesn't have to do that because there aren't any to be seen anywhere. Jacqueline Tay, a student at Horn Point Labs in Cambridge, has been studying our local sea nettle species, Chryseora quinquecera, for several years. She says when she started, sea nettles were a common sight in the river.
Every time you'd go out, there'd be like 30 to 300 jellyfish in a very small area. And then after that, it's been low since then.
Compare that video Jacqueline shot just a few years ago to today, when there's not one jellyfish to be seen in the chop tank. And when sea nettles are low, it usually comes with a price.
They eat zooplankton, so they eat copepods, they eat the same food that fish eat, but they also eat another jellyfish in the bay called the ctenophore, Nemiopsis. And generally, the prevailing thought is if there aren't a lot of sea nettles, then there'll be a lot of ctenophores, and that's a bad thing for the ecosystem.
Bad because the ctenophores eat considerably more zooplankton, leaving less food for the fish. But good news, they are nowhere to be found either. While it may sound like a crisis, the head of the jellyfish program at Horn Point, Dr. Raleigh Hood, thinks it's just a cycle.
We don't have any evidence to suggest that there's links between year to year in terms of population size. As far as we know, the population we have this year, how big it is this year, and how big it will be next year are largely independent of one another.
So for this year, swimmers in the bay get a free pass, and Susan Meredith is glad to hear it.
Man, I'm glad. The less jellyfish, the more swimming, the more people want to get out in the water. You know, it scares people and they don't want to go out in the water when they see that, you know, or take their family tubing or, you know, so it deters people. So I'm absolutely thrilled.
In conclusion, good year to be a swimmer out on Chesapeake Bay.
A good year to be a swimmer out on Chesapeake Bay.